Making numbers work is at the heart of every business venture. The restaurant world is already a tough industry to make it in, and the new math during a pandemic doesn't add up. On the front page centerpiece this week, the Hunger Games. The restaurant industry is one of the hardest hit by coronavirus restrictions. Only 75% of them nationwide are even able to reopen. And now they have to take on new costs just to open, like masks and gloves for employees, extra workers to handle carry-out orders, and additional shifts to sanitize everything multiple times per day. Owners are innovating on the fly, but in an industry built on volume and high margin experiences, profitability during a global pandemic is off the menu most indefinitely. When everything shut down in March, Brittany Ruby Miller knew reopening would be like launching 7 new restaurants. So they created what is essentially a whole new business plan built for a pandemic. She talked about that with Courier reporter Andy Brownfield.
So I'm here with Brittany Ruby Miller, the CEO of Jeff Ruby Culinary Entertainment, which operates 7 restaurants across 3 states. Now, you've been open for just over a month. What all did it take to get to that point?
It took a lot of people. We really started thinking about this about 2 weeks after we closed, when the shock kind of wore off, and then it was like, let's get back to business. There's gonna be a time that we open, and so we spent 3 months drafting a 40-page COVID playbook for our staff. So when they came back, that they felt that they were trained and that they had enough knowledge and skills to be able to manage and do what we do at the level that we do in a COVID world. There was lots that we did to the actual floor plans. I was on the restaurant advisory board for Ohio, and so I feel that I take personal pride in making sure that we're doing our part and that we're 6 foot distanced. And if not, that there's barriers. And so you think about your floor plan, you think about your space, your physical space, you think about training. I mean, everything that you can, and this isn't just us, this is everybody. There's been so much innovation in the restaurant scene that I'm just so proud of everybody doing our parts. It was a lot though, and we're just happy to be open.
Yeah, tell me about some of that innovation. I know restaurants have had to be creative to bring in new revenue streams as their capacity has been limited.
Yes, so capacity definitely is limited. Luckily for Ohio, we are not limited to this 50% of your fire code. As long as the space is again distanced, we can have more than 50% and do it in a way that is beyond safe. And but again, it's the innovation. Really, it's a disruption, and I welcome disruptions. For me, it was during the time off, think about this in the most positive way that we can, where this could be incremental sales, whether it's meal kits or carry out or virtual wine tours with Keegan, or whatever it might be, sending a chef into a home, doing a catering event. And so really that will never stop. This has now, I think, it has forced leaders, restaurateurs, bartenders, everybody to think, you know what your break even is, you know what these numbers are, how do you get there? That might not be 100% dine in, because we actually know that it's not going to be. So we have to be able to service other revenue streams and other types of people who don't want to eat in restaurants.
And the National Restaurant Association has polled its members and said that 75% of them say that they're not going to turn a profit in the next 6 months under these new protocols. What does the road to profitability look like for Jeff Ruby Culinary Entertainment?
Well, we're in that 75%. I think if you talk to anybody in the restaurant industry, if we can break even for 2020, that's a win. And I'm one of the most competitive people you'll probably ever meet. And so for me, how that tastes coming out of my mouth is, let's break even. But that's where we are. We don't know the future. We don't know what's going to happen. And we operate at a very high level. And so we're not going to SDA prime steaks, or because of the cost of the inventory, we have to operate very lean. We've got to be very smart with our finances. We also know who we are, and we're not willing to sacrifice that. So we've got to be good business people, but we've also got to give the public what they want and what they expect when they come into our restaurants.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Andy.